Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Mag-usap po tayo. Let's have real talk. It has been some time that we haven't talked and exchanged ideas. No? Yes, admittedly, there are certain things that are happening in our personal life, but again, we remain hopeful, and we know that God is there every time for us, for everyone, and as long as we ask our prayers and do all the interventions necessary, then we will emerge as as victorious for all that we wish to aspire for, right? So so that's why kaya medyo medyo kumbaga ko ano yung iba-iba ang emotion ko lately. So anyway, but uh, my reflection is that I am very blessed for having family, for having a career, for having a boss that is very understanding, and for having friends that are really very supportive of us. And that's something that I'm really very grateful, and that those are gifts that indeed are really something that I could measure, because even in PMs, and all calls that I receive, it's really overwhelming. Of course, some can just do as much, but I know even those that have not called me think of me and pray for us, and we remain hopeful that everything will be good and everything will be alright. So anyway, so let's talk about naman mga matters of what's happening inside and in the Philippines, in the world. I don't know. Hindi ako masyado sa world kasi unang-una hindi ako talaga nanonood ng TV. Sa totoo lang, I don't have time. And I just based on what I read and what I saw in Facebook and all that. So what are the bits and pieces of what I heard and all that. So maybe let's just think of the political front, or maybe economics as well, no? For economics, the peso is the peso is going stronger, because the rate right now is around 49 yata. Kahapon is 450, and then now is 49. So it's good for us in the Philippines, but it's not good for the OFWs, because they are the ones remitting the money, and the OFWs really are the heroes of this country. Without their remittance, then our economy will really slump down. But with them, because they have very strong remittance inwardly being remitted in the Philippines to support their families, then it's really a big boost to the economy, the inflow of dollars. No? So it's 49, and then for the Philippine Stock Exchange, it's around 7,000 plus. And the good thing is, the two initial IPOs recently, the all day of Villar Group, although I was strict, I wasn't able to buy the IPO because I was very busy, and then I bought a little during the IPO, and it was a ceiling at 0.90. The IPO price is 0.60, and then suddenly the following day it dropped down to a little as 0.70 or something. So it's really lugi, no? But basta maliit lang naman yung mga ano ko doon, konting binibigay na investment. But still, it's now, I think it's I take a glance before it closes, parang 0.80 na yata or something. So makaka-recover pa yung mga bumili sa 0.90. Okay. And then there's another offering by SGP. No, it's actually a company by the owners of Shumart yata. And that this is associated with power, no? So it's this NGCP. And as such, the offer price is actually a dormant company, but then it's a follow-on offering. So the offer price was 12. Again, I was not able to buy. Lagi na lang hindi ako nakakabili. But then, during the opening, it opened at 12. And then it stayed there for quite some time, 1, 2, 3 days, and then it's slowly going up. No, it's now 15.90, I think. The last it even went up to 16 this morning. So those are good, those are good indicators, if the stock market is doing well, and that of course, I don't know, maybe the businessmen are trying to help revive the economy after the lockdowns, and after the ECQs and all that, because no one could help our country except the economists themselves, the people, no. So yeah, and the economy is quite good for me, quite good But still, of course, there are really people who are very, very poor and living below the poverty line, no? So people who are unemployed, the employment rate is still very high. And then the people who are employed, the people who have lots of loans to pay and all that. So that's really my advice. Of course, I'm shifting to the loan. Having a loan is actually a practical way of doing, especially if you don't have cash. And if in the process while you're paying the loan, like for example, you take a loan of 420,000 or 1 million, and then you're paying the 1 million through installment, and then after a while you're paying, the value of your property is appreciating, so there's actually a gain, right? So, and in the process you don't have to to cash out money from, and lalo na kung wala ka talagang panglabas ng pera. So that's a good, to me, taking a loan from the bank for your abode and all that is something that is necessary, and something that is practical, because not all people have cash really. So but then taking a loan or credit card for your bisyo and all that, yan ang hindi pwede. Kasi kaya nga ako wala akong credit card, kasi I don't think I'm good at it. Padalawa, mahilig ako sa magagandang bagay, so the moment that I see something, I will scratch the credit card, which is something that good, because when you buy through credit card, you're practically buying on credit, and as such you're buying something, taking possession of something of which you don't have a money for yet. You will have to pay. So by paying time, so that's why the most practical actually is, you take the credit card, you borrow, you buy groceries and all that, use your credit card, but upon due date you pay, kasi para wala na yung charge, because the charge could go as high as 3.25 to 3.75%, which is really something onerous, but still allowed by the central bank, because the risks associated with with credit card is really that high, because the default is really that high. Marami talaga hindi nagbabayad, di ba? So that's the economy side. I hope that we will all have, for those who have received the 13th month pay like us, then I advise you to please save on it, and don't be one day millionaire. If you would pay debts, that's okay, because and then you pay tuition and all that. But if you would splurge on something that is not necessary talaga, ako nga nagigilty pa ako nung bumili ako ng cellphone, no, kasi guilty ako. Although yung cellphone ko Huawei lang naman, di ba, pero guilty pa rin ako. Of course I want sana to have an iPhone and all that, but I can't afford this 83,000, 90,000. Sobrang hindi ko yun. Someday siguro, no, I would have an iPhone and all that. So anyway, so yun, the economy side, I'm okay with that. And then let's talk about love, di ba? Kinasal na si Ellen Adarna at saka si Derek Ramsey at saka si Dennis Trillo at saka so bayan mo na sila. Ang pagmamahal ay hindi natin masasaklawan yan, dahil ang kanilang pag-ibig ay hindi natin masasaklawan. Yung kina Ellen at Derek within 1 year, yung kina 8 years, so iba-iba, di ba? Bayaan mo sila na hindi natin mabibigay ang kanilang kaligayahan. Yung lagi yung sinasabi ko, pag may nagmamahal ng tao, huwag natin kontrahin, lalo pa kung wala namang impediment sa kanilang pagsasama, kasi ay hindi naman natin mabibigay ang kaligayahan, di ba? So yun. Anyway, so let's move to pandemics. Pandemic. Mali talaga ang grammar ko. Sorry, I'm not good in English. Pandemic, so 800 plus na lang today, no? I hope that is correct. And I hope so, that the number of cases really going down. But of course, I'm worried about deaths. Marami pa rin akong kakilala na namamatay dahil sa COVID, and some are even not accounted for, because sometimes they'd rather stay at home dahil natatakot sila dun sa, alam mo yon, yung protocol na wala kang bantay and all that. So this pandemic, tayo yata ang pinakamatagal, but in fairness, other countries are naman having the experience of having a pandemic, although majority of the countries have already normalized their operations, and even the children are going to school and all that. But in the Philippines, it's still, in fact they even tested, parang di ba may nag-positive yata sa Zambales, Diyos ko, kawawa naman yung mga bata. But of course, and then the malls that were open for children and all that, of course I have kasi grandchildren, so I know how they feel But still, I'm an accountant, so I'm thinking of risks. And I'm not a negative thinker. It's just that, I know that there are risks. But of course, we also have to determine naman the impact of the long pandemic insofar as the mental state of the people are concerned, like the bata, the seniors and all that they have been, secluded or, prevented from going out. So, yun yung medyo naman kailangan din natin isipin, no? Tayo na nakakalabas, okay lang, ay paano sila 2 taon na, di ba? So, yun. Ang hirap din, conflicting yung aking opinions. So anyway, so let's move to politics. So yun. Politics talaga sa Pilipinas, ibang klase, no? Noong unang panahon, sa mga taong mga bata pa, noong unang panahon, 2 lang ang party, liberal at nationalista. Similar sa Amerika, no? Republican ka ba o Democrat? So ganon. Ngayon, ang dami na, kung ano-ano na ang mga party. And I really hate about the idea of substitution. Kasi sa akin, if you want to be a leader, then you should be resolute. You should be definitive. You should be with a firm mind, di ba? Di ba parang, ba't kailangan pa magbagong isip mo? In the first place, you should have planned it a long time ago, right? And you should never be influenced by anyone in your quest to serve the country, right? So, yun, medyo hindi ako go sa mga substitution, although that is allowed pala. But anyway, hindi talaga ako go doon sa mga substitution na yan, na parang nagiging dramatic, no? Parang nagiging melodramatic ang political scene, no? And some are even, ang hirap lang sa politics because my candidate, like for example, my belief is different from people that, the belief of people that I love, like my cousins, my family, and all that. Magkakaiba kami ng panuntunan. So siguro, ang aking laging panuntunan dyan ay respeto at pagmamahal. Iba-iba ang pananaw ko, no? In fact, minsan naiisip ko, bakit ganon? Magkababata kami pero magkaiba kami ng pananaw. So siguro, talagang ganon, no? Of course, gradually I would voice, and maybe you would actually discern whose candidate I'm supporting to, right? So I'm not, all that I have really, there's a really a common ground of what I wanted, and that is to make this nation great again, no? Yung mga speech ni John F. Kennedy, as not what the country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Yung mga ganon, this nation will rise again. Mga ganon, mga speech ni Roosevelt, at saka nina 7 years ago, nina Abraham Lincoln. Yun yung mga gusto kong marinig. Tsaka yung si Lee Kuan Yew, yun yung gusto ko. Yung, alam mo yung how Lee Kuan Yew transformed Singapore, and how Mahathir transformed Malaysia, how Sukarno did to Indonesia. Nakakaingit din kasi nga, the Philippines is, ang maganda sa Philippines ganito alam mo maganda sa Philippines ganito. Sa pagkakaalam ko lang nag-aalam-alaman lang ako. Maganda sa Philippines ganito. We are strategically located in the Pacific. So kumbaga, yung trade flow, flowing siya. Tapos marami siyang archipelago. So kumbaga, pwede mo siyang i-develop into hubs like international ports here, there, and all that. So, and like, diba, tingnan mo naman Singapore, sobrang ng port, like even Taiwan, the Kaohsiung, the Keelung, and all that. Even Indonesia, the Surabaya, and all that. And Hong Kong. Diba, tayo, ang port natin, samantalang ang gaganda ng ports natin talaga, ang gaganda ng lugar natin, like Batangas, like Manila, or even Cebu. Diba, or even, I was even thinking of Zambales or something because it's near the Pacific. So yun, yung mga ganun na parang sayang, no, yung ganun na mga opportunities, no. So yun, pangalawa, maganda sa Pilipinas ay tayo ay magaling mag-Ingles at tayo ay mga edukado. So yun yung edge natin kasi ibig sabihin, tayo ay matatalino, di ba? Tayo ay nakapag-aral at tayo ay kahit na hindi tayo nakapag-aral, kahit pa tayo nakapag-high school, di ba? Tayo ay marunong, pwede tayong Pangatlo ay tayo ay resilient, tayo ay masisipag, no? Yun ang pagkakaalam ko. So yun, kaya dapat kaya lang, ang kailangan talaga ay isang leader, no? Alam mo, sa ibang bansa, pag sinabi ng presidente, pag sinabi ng head, or kung sino man yan, Mao Zedong and all that, people really follow. They don't have they don't have a way but to follow, no? Yung mga ganon, wala kang choice kundi mo sumunod. Yun yung hinahanap ko, yung strong na leader, yung alam mo yun, yung mga likes of Claro M. Recto, Mang Lapus, yung mga lumang panahon na matatalino, yung talagang kayang mag-leader kasi number one, may alam. Kailangan kasi may alam ka, hindi pwedeng wala kang alam. Talaga sa totoo lang. Kailangan may alam ka. Pangalawa, meron ka dapat experiensya. Experiensya means pag-experience mo, di ba, nakapag-aral ka ba sa college, naranasan mo bang maging pumila sa yung mga ganon, naranasan mo bang makisalamuha sa mga tao, naranasan mo bang to remain, victorious in the middle of storms, alam mo ba yon? Naranasan mo bang to take every pain as an opportunity, yung mga ganon gusto kong maging leader, yung go, yung matibay, kasi marami siyang experience. So, it's really education, experience. And then number 3 is yung kanyang determination to serve, na selfless, hindi mo iisipin yung pagpapayaman and all that, kundi the mere fact that you have the power and the responsibility to lead is in itself something that is glory for you, and it's really a calling. Yun yung hinahanap ko, yung maging calling, yung magiging leader, yung hindi mo titingnan yung pagpapayaman and all that. Kumbaga, ang titingnan mo ay kung ano ang magagawa mo sa iyong termino. Yun yung inaano ko, yun yung kaya gigit na gigit ako, no? So yun lang, hindi ko naman inaano kung na ikaw ay masamang leader or something, pero yun yung ano ko. And number 4 na ba ako, is that you have the passion to lead and you have the traits to be a leader, because a leader, iba-iba kasi ang leader, no? Merong situational leader, kumbaga depende sa sitwasyon. And then merong dictatorial leader, may time na kailangan mo maging dictator. May time naman na ikaw ay kailangan listening leader, may compassionate ka, kailangan kang makinig, no? Iba-iba kasi, pero in the overall, a leader is someone who could stand and be firm on what he believes is good after all, deliberating on his own as well as with his aides what is needed to be done for this country. Meaning, bago ka magbitaw ng salita, pumirma ng kung anumang presidential decree dyan o kung ano man dyan, ang importante, alam mo ang nangyayari sa bansa at may determinasyon ka. So yun, ang leader pati masipag. Dapat ikaw ay maagang gumising, ikaw ay kahit gabi na, naandun pa rin ang pag-iisip mong makapagsilbi, ganun. Yun sa akin yung leader sorry, nangangalaginip ba ako? So yun, I just want this nation to rise again, because I still believe that we even have the best natural resources. Ang gaganda ng beach natin, dapat nga yung ating tourism could even enough to support the economy. Although against din naman ako yung sobrang over touristino. But then, ang sinasabi ko lang is the tourism like the one in Thailand or in Spain, nabubuhay na lang sila sa turismo kasi talagang yung turismo ang taas, di ba? So, of course, you could separate naman, we toe the line of the rules. Like, for example, ito bawal, ikaw turista ka, blah, 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 and all that. So, yung gano'n, like Thailand has so many tourists, di ba? And yet, ano naman ang meron sa Thailand kumpara sa atin, di ba? They don't even speak English so well like us, no? So, and yet, ang daming turista, di ba? So yun yung medyo siguro it's time to reinvent. Actually, it's re-engineering ang term ko. Re-engineering para kung meron ko industrial engineering background. So parang it's a time to reinvent ourselves and grounded on the morals and good values. Dapat talaga marunong tayong makipagkapwa-tao at dapat talaga tayo ay mabait. At the same time, tayo ay firm. Dapat at the same time, hindi tayo nag-iisip ng something na unfair sa ibang tao. Parang ganun ba? Sorry hindi naman ako nagiging Mother Teresa dito at hindi rin naman ako perfect sa totoo lang. But still, I still believe that, this nation will rise again if we have good leaders talaga. That, the people can follow, with the right morals, with the right beliefs and all that. So, yun lang yung aking ngayon. Ang dami kong sinabi, Yun na ba yung aking minutes? Hindi ko na matandaan. Para 15 minutes. Ganoon talaga ako pag nagdaldal, di ba? So, ganoon. Tapos, alam mo, ang inaasahan ko lang that now that we have resumed going to church and all that we would be more prayerful now for the good of our country, because wrong move on our part to choose our leader would spell a lot of difference. The future of this nation is at stake, and when you vote, please vote. When you vote, you're not thinking of yourself alone. You're thinking of the patrimony of the nation, which means you're thinking of the future, your progeny, yung mga susunod na henerasyon, di ba? So iniisip mo yon, hindi lang yung kung sa ngayon, bayan mo na, matanda naman ako. Hindi ganun, di ba? So yun, sana mag-vote tayo. So yun yung aking yung aking reflection sa elections. So I would close my talk right now by saying that all of this could be grounded on our deep love for our country. Let's be nationalistic enough and patriotic enough to love our country, and also let us be kind to people who have lost their loved ones during the pandemic, people who are now having loved ones who are sick and are battling for their lives. And just jump a note or two, that would be good, and then say a prayer, a note or two or something. So, and then we should stay in love or loving to people who we love, no? Perhaps you would say, hindi naman ako mahal. Bayaan mo na. Ang importante, nagmamahal ka, because a person who loves has really that pure heart, kasi provided that you love selflessly, kasi a person who loves really loves through the dictates of his or her heart. So in short, lahat maganda sa kanya, parang mapagpatawad, mabait, mapagmahal, maunawain, gano'n. So siguro dapat gano'n tayo. Dapat tayo ay respeto, dapat din tayo ay magmahal, at tayo ay maging mabait. So yun lang ang aking sharing sa gabing ito. 20 minutes na. Pasensya na kayo, ganun talaga ako dire-diretso magsalita. Pero hindi naman ako chismosa. I just want to share with you my thoughts today, November, hindi ko na alam, 16, 2021. So, good evening everyone, and have a blessed night. Good evening, and let's pray for each other, and let's love each other, and let's love this nation. This nation is our own, the Philippines. God bless. Good night.